Hey guys, welcome back. Devansh Agarwal here, and today we are going to talk about the law of karma. We have all come across the term the law of karma. Some of you might recollect it with the modern go-to notion, karma's a bitch. Ring any bells? So now before diving right into what this law is all about and how it works, it's imperative I clear the desk and first tell you what it isn't. The thing is that we all have formed our own versions of the law of karma based on what we have heard from our friends, families, TVs and movies. So in order to learn something new, we gotta first unlearn whatever we think we know about this law. Most of us are of the opinion that if anything bad, wrong, or unanticipated is happening to them, then it is because of their previous bad karmas, and if anything good is happening, then it's subsequently because of their respective good karmas. But the reality is that whatever is happening to us might not be even remotely related to our actions in life. Think about it. Wherever you are today, is it just because of your own actions? The answer is a big fat bowl of no. Your actions alone didn't decide your current scenario. The action of your parents, your teachers, your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, your wife, your husbands, even strangers did have a massive impact on where you are right now. External situations, circumstances, nature, and things you have no control over can and do affect your lives in ways one can't even imagine. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of the law of karma. Karma is A, the executed deed, work, action or act, and B, it is also the intention of the person behind the action. So in this video, I will refer to point A as actions and the point B as karma to keep things simple. The actions are basically performed at three levels. The first level is what we do with our bodies, the physical deeds. The second is what we do by speaking, and the third one is what we think about things in our minds. The actions you take where you have any underlying motive, purpose, intention or reason decide what kind of karma it is, whether it is a good one or a bad one. But all those things that you do where you don't have any purpose, intention, motive or reason, then that is your A karma or not karma. At the moment, billions and trillions of functions are happening in your bodies without your control or say of any kind whatsoever. The breath, the digestion, the heartbeat, the nervous system, all these processes are running on their own. So you can't possibly label it as your actions because you are not the one who's controlling it. But the moment you take control of your breath, doing pranayama, then that becomes your action. As simple as that. All the actions that were taken by you when you are aware and conscious about it, only those can be labeled as either good or bad karma. But on the other hand, the actions undertaken by you unintentionally or unconsciously, where you were unaware of what you were doing, then that's neither good karma nor bad karma. It should be very clear that who is actually performing the action, because only when we actually know the person responsible for the action can we categorize it as good or bad. This itself is a big revelation in itself. So often we scapegoat others or get scapegoated ourselves for things we didn't even intend to do, which is totally nuts. There's a world of a difference between the two. So now comes the next part of the law of karma, that is the categorization. The only thing that differentiates between the two is intentions. If your intentions are clean, inspiring, helpful, full of compassion and empathy, looking for the greater good, then these all come under the umbrella of good karma. And it goes without saying, if your intentions are dirty, uninspiring, causing hindrance, to cheat, to betray, to cause harm, looking out just for yourself without giving a rat's ass to the society, then these all constitute the bad karma. The law of karma is all about the intentions and motives of the person and not the outcome or result of the situation. That is precisely where we get blindsided. All the world cares about is the result, ignoring the intentions and ultimately misconstruing the law of karma. If a robber intends to steal a bank and creates a sense of panic among the people, then irrespective of whether he is successful in his deeds or not, it will come under bad karma. If you so much as think something evil or nasty about someone or something, but you physically did nothing, it will still be considered a bad karma. On the flip side, let's say if a doctor wants to save a patient who came to him, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he couldn't even after trying everything he knew, he couldn't save him, but that will still be considered as good karma. The outcome is not connected to your karma in any way, because ultimately the outcome or the result is out of your direct scope. You can't possibly be rewarded or punished for something that's beyond your control, can you? The intentions that grow inside us are what decide whether you will be handsomely rewarded or gruesomely punished. Either you're gonna rise at the level of your consciousness or you're gonna fall flat. Whatever happens on the outside doesn't make a difference. Now, those who won't understand this phenomena will live their lives under an illusion. People erroneously and inaccurately blame their past karmas if their lives turn upside down. In all probability, they might actually have not done anything bad at all. Some schmucks take it one step further. They say that the person must have done some bad deeds in his past life, because of which he has to pay in his present life. Seriously, there is no end to stupidity. Some people believe this nonsense because they don't know how to make sense of the situation, which is why they accept anything that sounds logical to them, which actually may be bullshit in reality. The thing they completely miss is that they actually might not have done any bad deeds yet, but giving such reactions to their situation is in fact the beginning of their bad karma. Believing in complete nonsense, not using one's own intelligence to grasp the reality, and living in an imaginary world is in itself the bad karma, which will ultimately make one pay in life sooner than later. Having the kind of beliefs that, I definitely must have done something really bad in the past, which is why my present life isn't shit, will automatically lower his worth in his own eyes and also in the eyes of the world. This illusion that he did something wrong when he actually might be innocent will depreciate his energy, make him hollow from the inside, and will pretty soon spiral into a pretty destructive and dark loop. People who actually do something wrong in their past will never believe that they did something wrong in the first place. A terrorist isn't gonna introspect and come to the conclusion that he has done some past horrendous deeds. That's the irony of this world. Positive and wise people are always doubting themselves, while the negative and ignorant people are full of chutzpah. Playing the blame game to make oneself feel better is again bad karma. The deeds or actions that make you stronger from the inside, increase your self-worth, alleviate your anger, keep your mind at peace, bump up your heart, and make you fearless are all good karma. While all the actions that make you weak and feeble from the inside, decrease your self-worth, increase your anger, destabilize your inner peace, shrink your heart, and make you a fearful person are all bad karma. Now let's understand the mechanism of the law of karma. While what most of us believe about the law of karma is that some mystical power from up above the sky is gonna punish or reward those who did some bad or good deeds 10 years from now. Well, that's not quite how it works. It's not actually needed for someone else to do this job. You yourself are gonna decide what you're gonna get in life. The minute you even start thinking something bad, your intentions will start to poison your own mind. You will start getting what you sow already. You don't have to wait to get the results. Your mind has already taken a wrong turn, and slowly and steadily it will convert itself into a habit. The kind of habit that isn't gonna generate any positive results whatsoever. The more you will walk on this path, the more wrongful deeds you perform, the smaller your heart will become. On the flip hand, if your intentions are right, your mind will be at peace, your heart will grow bigger, and you will be genuinely happy from the inside. The first step to grasping the law of karma is to understand that this law is not about putting the responsibility on someone else. And by someone else, I mean everyone from your neighbor to your parents to your colleagues to your partners to even God. Doesn't matter if something good or bad happens, stop giving the credits to some superficial and imaginary energy you have never seen or witnessed. The essence of this law is that we are all responsible for the actions we take, as it is not just gonna affect our lives but the entire world. Whatever action you take, good or bad, is not just limited to you. It is also gonna affect the people around you, and consequently, the chain reaction spreads around, getting bigger and bigger with time. The problem is that we don't see things this way because of the selfishness, pettiness, and possessiveness that have engulfed us pretty badly. Once we open our eyes and see what kind of effect our actions have on the society, on the people around us, on the world, then that will completely change the way we think about the law of karma. So now, how does the law of karma actually work? Let me explain this by giving you a very relatable example. Let's say a guy did something wrong with another guy who was totally innocent. Now the other guy who was wronged may live under the notion that he will get justice since he has been wrongfully wronged, and the person who did him wrong will pay for his sins. But so often, it is not really the case. Hence, it is very important to understand the underlying story going on here, as we may also find ourselves in the position of the person who was wronged. First thing first, at the level of the universe, there is no such thing as justice or injustice. If a lion kills and eats a deer, then it is stupid to think that the law of karma will make the lion pay for his deeds. Nature has its own laws and it works accordingly. There is no such thing as right or wrong in nature. But when it comes to our society, it's imperative to draw a line between the right and the wrong to maintain order. The laws need to be so strict that the person should think twice before doing something wrong. It's ultimately our own duty as the citizens to ensure that the judicial system is bold and competent enough to punish the criminal. Merely blaming one's karma and living in the illusion that some power is gonna get one justice is impractical and stupid. It's all about taking responsibility. The law of karma works in a very unbiased way. It doesn't matter what we think about it, it is gonna work the way it is meant to be. If someone puts his hand in the fire, then it is bound to burn. There isn't gonna be any partiality or prejudice. The problems arise when we say, oh, that poor kid is so innocent, he didn't know that fire burns, his hand shouldn't have burned down like that, and so on. The laws don't give a damn about what we think is right or wrong. So ultimately, it is our duty to educate society, do whatever we can at an individual level, and stop putting the blame on God, karma, or whatever all the time. No one's a born criminal. It is ultimately we as a society who is responsible for the environment and knowledge we provide to those who go on the wrong track. And hence it has to be us only as a collective power to right the wrong. At an individual level, you can't change the whole society with a snap of your fingers. But what you can do is change yourself. People so often overestimate what a society can do, but underestimate what an individual can do. Just imagine that if you can change yourself completely, then won't it also have an impact on people around you too? Like this, you alone are enough to start a snowball effect, and directly or indirectly, you are taking part in changing the whole world. One wrong deed isn't just gonna put you down, it is also gonna affect many more down the line and you wouldn't even know. Let me give you another example. Let's say a guy in his late 20s was driving under the influence. He very well knows the consequences his actions can bring, but apparently he cares more about the thrills he is gonna get than the innocent people who also happen to use the same road. Now what if he loses control and hits a car? The person in the car that's hit was driving absolutely perfectly, following all the rules and regulations, but hey, guess that's not enough in today's world. Does it make any sense now to blame the poor guy and saying that it must be because of some past bad karma he did and that got him in the situation in the first place? What if he had a family that was dependent on him both financially and emotionally? Can you imagine the kind of effect it is gonna have on his 8-year-old son? What if his wife goes into depression and starts drinking only to find that now it was her who was responsible for the next accident to happen down the street, and the whole cycle repeats itself? I can go on all day, rippling the effect of that one act of that guy, which will continue to affect countless people down the line in ways I can't even imagine. But hey, no one is patient enough to think this way. I know I just made that all up, but sometimes the reality is stranger than fiction. We are all connected to each other. We are all a part of this giant web. It's time we stop looking around at things in isolation. Once we connect all the things we apparently segregated so conveniently, once we join all the broken links, and that's when we start understanding the whole game in play. Your action is gonna affect the entire world, and the action of the entire world is gonna affect you. That's how deeply connected we all are. Now when people grasp this concept incompletely, they suddenly feel powerless. They think that they can't possibly change the world, so they start looking out just for themselves. But the truth is that no action is small. The tiniest of actions you take can and will have an impact on the world. It may not be instantly, but eventually. So stop being egoistical. You are not alone. As long as you keep on thinking that you are somewhat different from the universe, you will never be able to grasp the true sense of the law of karma, and it will keep on bewildering you. Once you actually realize this phenomena, not just because I said so, but truly from the inside, then just imagine the kind of actions you're gonna take. It will be something beyond your own imagination. Right now, you take actions that you think are good for you and you alone. But once this whole concept of law of karma sinks in, that we are all in this together, then you wouldn't even have to try to love others. You will automatically love them all the way. We may look like we are all separate entities at the level of the body, but deep down, we are all connected to that supreme reality. We are all one entity, a single block. If every wave in the ocean realizes that it is actually water, and water is all there is, then that's when something magical will start happening. This makes things so simpler. If you do something good, it's gonna affect everyone, including yourself, and vice versa. The game of life. Some people are here who keep on betting on the desired outcomes they want in life, and consequently become morose when they don't get what they want, putting the blame on destiny, karma, luck, fate, or people. While some, on the other hand, are more focused on playing the game to the best of their abilities, accepting whatever they get, be it pain or pleasure, success or failure, and move on. And do you know the fun fact? The latter category of people often plays the better game because their focus is on excelling the game to the best of their abilities. These kinds of people completely involve themselves in the work they do without letting the outcome bother them. One can only enjoy the game to its fullest and he hasn't placed a bet on either side of whether he's going to win or lose. Once you bet on either side of the game, then your focus is no longer on enjoying or living the game, but it is on whether you're going to win or lose, which is not in your hand. People out of nowhere try to imbibe the law of karma when things go southhill, just for the heck of justifying themselves, just for, making them feel better. They're not ready to accept the reality. It's about time we free ourselves from the attachment of winning and losing and start focusing on playing the best game no one has ever played before. That is the best karma one can do. To sum it all up, I would say the law of karma isn't about shifting the blame. It's about taking responsibility. Thank you very much.